Chapter 1. The Dormant Gene. Characters. Noah, a quiet, cute college student. He believes he will be a beta like his parents. Zane, the university's emperor. A wealthy, bored true alpha who finds everything dull. The university campus was buzzing with excitement. It was Friday night, and everyone was heading to the dorm parties. Everyone except Noah. Noah sat in the campus cafeteria, poking at his food. He looked at his phone, October 14th, 8:00 p.m. 4 hours, his friend Sam said, sliding into the seat opposite him. Nervous. Noah forced a laugh, rubbing the back of his neck. About what? Turning 18? It's just a birthday, Sam. My parents are betas. My sister is a beta. I'm going to be a beta. Sam raised an eyebrow. I don't know, Noah, you've been looking pretty lately. Your skin is glowing, and you smell like sugar. It's my shampoo, Noah snapped, blushing. But deep down, he felt a strange flutter in his stomach. A heat that felt like a spark waiting to catch fire. 10:30 p.m. The heat got worse. Noah was back in his dorm room. He had turned the air conditioning down to the lowest setting, but he was sweating. He stood in front of the mirror, splashing cold water on his face. He looked at his reflection. His pupils were trembling. His cheeks were flushed a deep, unnatural pink. Just a fever, he whispered, clutching the sink. I probably ate something bad. A cramp hit his lower abdomen, sharp and twisting. Noah gasped, doubling over. It wasn't a stomach ache. It felt like his insides were rearranging themselves. He grabbed his phone to call Sam, but his fingers were shaking too hard. I need to get out, his instincts screamed. It's not safe here, too many people. He grabbed his hoodie, pulling it low over his face, and stumbled out into the hallway. He needed somewhere cold, somewhere quiet, the old library. 11:15 p.m., the Alpha's boredom. Across the campus, in the VIP lounge of the Alpha dorms, Zane sat on a leather sofa, swirling a glass of whiskey. Music blasted around him. Omegas and betas were dancing, trying to catch his eye. Zane, a bold Omega girl, walked up, sitting close to him. She released her pheromones, sweet rose perfume. You look lonely. Zane didn't even look at her. He wrinkled his nose. You smell like chemicals, leave. The girl flinched and ran away. Zane sighed, resting his head back. Boring, he muttered. Why is everyone so dull? He closed his eyes, wishing for something real, something that didn't feel like plastic. 11:45 p.m., the library. Noah had made it to the old library basement. It was freezing down here, usually used for storage. He curled up in the corner, behind a stack of dusty books. The pain was agonizing now. It felt like his blood was boiling. Please stop, Noah whimpered, tearing at his collar. Mom, it hurts. The clock on the wall ticked closer to midnight. As the seconds passed, a scent began to leak from his skin. It started faint, like a drop of honey in tea. But as the heat rose, the scent grew heavier, richer, sweeter. It wasn't just a scent, it was a biological signal, a distress flare shooting up into the night. 12:00 a.m., the awakening. The clock tower chimed. Noah screamed silently, his back arching off the cold floor. Crack. Something inside his biology snapped open. The beta facade shattered. A wave of pure, concentrated omega pheromones exploded from his body. It washed over the library, seeped through the cracks in the doors, and floated out into the night air. It was the scent of moonflowers and wild honey. Noah lay panting on the floor, his vision blurry. He felt soft, vulnerable. He felt a desperate, aching need to be held, to be bitten, to be knotted. Alpha, the word slipped from his lips without him thinking. It was his first instinct. 12:05 a.m., the hunt begins. In the VIP lounge, the glass in Zane's hand suddenly cracked. Everyone froze. Zane, his friend asked, you okay? Zane stood up slowly. His eyes, usually a cold steel gray, were bleeding into a dark, glowing crimson. His nostrils flared. The smell hit him from a mile away. It cut through the cheap perfume, the alcohol, the sweat. It was the most delicious thing he had ever smelled. It made his mouth water. It made his inner beast roar. Zane. Quiet, Zane growled. The sound was so low and dangerous that 3 alphas in the room dropped to their knees in submission. Zane walked to the window, staring toward the old library. Found you, he whispered. He didn't explain. He didn't say goodbye. He jumped out the first-floor window and began to sprint across the lawn, moving faster than any human should. The predator had found its prey. Chapter 2. The Ghost Scent and the CEO. The library basement. Noah was curling into a ball on the dusty floor, whimpering. The heat was consuming him. Suddenly, the heavy door creaked open. Noah. It wasn't Zane. It was Sam, Noah's best friend. Sam had tracked Noah's phone location when he didn't answer. Sam rushed over, dropping to his knees. Oh God, you're burning up. Sam sniffed the air and froze. His eyes widened in shock. Noah, this smell you presented. You're an Omega. It hurts, Noah cried, gripping Sam's shirt. Get me out of here. Sam, a beta, wasn't affected by the pheromones as strongly as an alpha, but even he felt dizzy. Okay, we have to go, now. If an alpha smells this, you're in danger. Sam hoisted Noah up, wrapping his own jacket around Noah to mask the scent. They stumbled toward the emergency back exit, disappearing into the night just seconds before footsteps thundered at the main entrance. The arrival. Crash. The double doors of the library basement were kicked open with such force that the wood splintered. Zane stood in the doorway, his chest heaving, his eyes glowing a terrifying crimson red. Where are you? Zane growled, his voice vibrating off the walls. He stalked into the room, hunting. He checked behind the bookshelves. He checked the corners. Empty. Zane stopped in the center of the room. The air was thick with the scent, moonflowers and wild honey. It was so strong here, it was suffocating. The boy had been here seconds ago. Zane fell to his knees where Noah had been lying. He touched the floor. It was still warm. Gone, Zane whispered. The realization made his blood boil. Someone had taken his prey. The obsession. Zane picked up a small object from the floor. It was Noah's student ID card, dropped in the panic. Zane looked at the photo. A shy boy with messy brown hair and big innocent eyes. Noah, Zane read the name aloud, testing it on his tongue. He brought the ID card to his nose, inhaling the lingering scent deeply. It was intoxicating. It calmed the beast inside him, but also made it hungrier. You think you can run? Zane let out a dark, low chuckle that echoed in the empty room. You can't run from me. The secret revealed. Footsteps hurried into the room. A man in a sharp black suit appeared, Zane's personal secretary, Mr. Black. Sir, Mr. Black panted, you ran out of the dorms. The security team is panicking. If the university board finds out you are here. Zane stood up slowly, slipping Noah's ID card into his pocket. His demeanor changed instantly. The wild, college student vibe vanished. He stood straighter, colder, radiating absolute authority. He wasn't just Zane, the rich student. He was Zane Sterling, the 24-year-old CEO of Sterling Corp., the most powerful conglomerate in the country. He was only at the university undercover to investigate a business rival. Forget the board, Zane said, his voice cold and professional. I have a new priority. Sir, Mr. Black asked, nervous. Zane turned, his golden-red eyes sharp. I found a rare Omega. Someone took him. Mr. Black's jaw dropped. A rare Omega was a myth. What are your orders, CEO Sterling? Zane walked past him, adjusting his cuffs. Lock down the city, hack the campus surveillance, find out which car left this building in the last 5 minutes. He paused at the door, looking back at the empty spot where Noah had been. I don't care if I have to buy this entire university, Zane vowed darkly. Find him and bring him to my penthouse, tonight. Chapter 3. The Collar and the Corridor. 7 days later. Noah stood at the university gates, adjusting the thick black leather choker around his neck. It wasn't a fashion statement. It was a military-grade scent blocker Sam had bought from the black market. You sure this works? Noah asked, his voice shaking. Sam nodded. It's guaranteed, Noah. You smell like nothing, like air. Just keep your head down, attend lectures, and come straight home. Noah took a deep breath. He had spent the last week in agony, hiding in Sam's basement, waiting for his first heat to pass. Now he felt weak but stable. Okay, Noah whispered. I can do this. I'm just a beta with a fashion accessory. No one knows. He walked onto the campus, clutching his bag, unaware that the entire university atmosphere had changed because of him. The alpha's rage. The campus was terrifyingly quiet. Usually, students laughed and shouted. Today, everyone whispered. Why? Because Zane Sterling was in a foul mood. For 7 days, the king of the campus hadn't slept. He had turned the city upside down looking for the boy on the ID card, but Noah had vanished off the grid. Zane walked down the main hallway, his entourage trailing behind him. His aura was suffocating. His pheromones, usually controlled, were leaking out in waves of burnt wood and storms, making weaker students tremble as he passed. Sir, Mr. Black whispered, walking beside him, you need to rest. You're scaring the freshmen. I don't care, Zane snapped, his eyes scanning every face in the crowd. He has to be here. He has to come back eventually. The encounter. Noah was hurrying to his biology class, head down, looking at the floor. He turned the corner sharply and slammed straight into a chest as hard as a brick wall. Thud. Noah bounced off and fell backward, his books scattering across the floor. I'm so sorry, Noah gasped, scrambling to his knees to pick up his papers. I wasn't looking, A hand reached down, a large, expensive watch on the wrist. Noah froze. He looked up slowly. Towering over him was the man from his nightmares, the man Sam had warned him about, Zane. Zane wasn't helping him up. He was staring at Noah's face, the face from the ID card. Time stopped. The sniff. You, Zane whispered. It wasn't a question, it was a claim. Noah's heart hammered against his ribs. The collar, he thought frantically. I'm wearing the collar. He can't smell me. He doesn't know. I have to go, Noah squeaked, grabbing his bag and trying to stand. Zane moved faster than light. He slammed his hand against the lockers next to Noah's head, trapping him. The students in the hallway gasped and stopped moving. Zane leaned down, his face inches from Noah's neck. He inhaled deeply near the black collar. Noah held his breath, praying, please work, please work. To anyone else, Noah smelled like nothing, but Zane was a true alpha. Zane's eyes widened. Beneath the heavy rubber smell of the blocker, there was a tiny, faint trace, a single drop of wild honey. The trap closes. Zane pulled back, a dark, predatory smirk curling his lips. He looked at the leather collar. Cute accessory, Zane murmured, his voice low enough that only Noah could hear. Trying to hide something, little one. Noah went pale. I don't know what you mean, it's just, for style. Style, Zane repeated, mocking him. He reached out, his thumb brushing the leather of the collar, right over Noah's pulse point. Noah shivered violently at the touch. You think this piece of leather can stop me? Zane whispered, his golden red eyes glowing. I'd recognize you in the dark. I'd recognize you in a storm. Please, Noah begged softly, terrified the other students would hear. Let me go. The claim. Zane didn't let go. Instead, he straightened up, addressing the silent hallway. Listen up, Zane's voice boomed. Every student flinched. Zane placed a heavy hand on Noah's shoulder, pulling him into his side. Possessive, dominant. This student, Zane announced, looking around with a glare that promised murder, is now under my personal supervision. He carries my books. The crowd looked confused. A book carrier. Zane looked down at Noah, his eyes promising a very different fate. Come with me, Zane ordered, steering Noah toward the exit, away from the class. My class, Noah protested weakly. Class is canceled, Zane growled, dragging him toward the private elevator that led to the CEO's office on the top floor. We have a lot of catching up to do. Chapter 5, the nap and the kidnapping. The human sedative. Inside the locked office, the tension shifted. Zane's adrenaline crashed. He hadn't slept in 7 days, and now, surrounded by Noah's honey-sweet scent, his body shut down. Zane slumped forward, resting his heavy head on Noah's shoulder. "Zane," Noah froze. "Don't move," Zane mumbled, his voice thick with sleep. "Just stay." Zane dragged Noah toward the large plush sofa in the corner. He pulled Noah down, trapping him against the cushions. Zane lay on top of him, not sexually, but like a weighted blanket. He buried his face in Noah's neck, inhaled once, and was instantly asleep. Noah lay there, heart pounding, pinned under the sleeping CEO. He realized with a shock, I am his medicine. The next morning, sunlight streamed in. Zane woke up feeling more rested than he had in years. Noah was awake, stiff and nervous. "Can I go home now?" Noah whispered. "My parents will worry. I need to change." Zane looked at him. He didn't want to let him go, but he knew he couldn't keep him locked in an office forever. Not yet. "Fine," Zane said, sitting up and fixing his shirt. "Go home, change, go to class." He grabbed Noah's chin, staring into his eyes. "But remember, my scent is on you now. If you try to run, I will burn the city to find you again." Noah nodded quickly and ran out the moment the door unlocked. Back at college, the rival. 2 hours later, Noah was back on campus, trying to act normal. "Noah." A voice called out. It was Ryan, a senior alpha from the football team. Ryan had liked Noah for months, but never made a move because Noah was thought to be a beta. Ryan jogged over, smiling. "I haven't seen you in a week. You okay?" "I'm fine, Ryan," Noah said, clutching his books, looking around nervously. Ryan stepped closer, sniffing the air. He frowned. "You smell different, sweet." Ryan smiled, reaching out to tuck a strand of hair behind Noah's ear. "You know, I've always thought you were cute, Noah. Maybe we could." Ryan's hand touched Noah's cheek. The Watcher. Noah didn't know it, but he was never alone. High up in the surveillance room, and through the eyes of his bodyguards stationed in the crowd, Zane saw everything. He saw Ryan smile. He saw Ryan's hand touch Noah's face. Zane didn't speak. He didn't yell. He just shattered the tablet he was holding in his hand. "Get the car," Zane said to Mr. Black, his voice dead calm. "Now." The abduction. Noah was trying to back away from Ryan. "Ryan, please, I can't." Suddenly, a screech of tires. A black SUV mounted the curb, stopping right on the campus lawn. Doors flew open, 4 bodyguards stepped out, and then Zane. He walked straight to them. He didn't even look at Ryan. He looked at Noah. "Zane," Noah gasped. Ryan puffed his chest out. "Hey man, who do you think you?" Zane didn't even slow down. He shoved Ryan aside with one hand so hard that the football player flew into the grass. Zane grabbed Noah. He didn't ask him to come. He didn't drag him. He bent down and scooped Noah up over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. "Mine." "Put me down," Noah shouted, hitting Zane's back. "Everyone is watching." "Let them watch," Zane growled, carrying Noah toward the car. "Let them see what happens when someone touches my property." He threw Noah into the back seat of the SUV and climbed in after him, locking the doors. "I gave you freedom for 2 hours, Zane hissed, pinning Noah against the leather seat as the car sped away. "And you let another alpha touch you." "I didn't let him, he just did it." "Doesn't matter," Zane's eyes were glowing furiously. "You're done, no more college, no more home, you're coming to my mansion. Permanently." Chapter 6. The Gentleman Beast and the Naughty Plan. 1 year later. Life had become strangely perfect. Zane Sterling had kept his word. He moved Noah into his mansion, but he didn't treat him like a prisoner. He treated him like a porcelain doll. Every morning, Zane drove Noah to college. Every afternoon, he picked him up. He bought Noah's parents a new house nearby so they wouldn't worry. He charmed them completely. But there was one problem. Zane was too respectful. For 12 months, Zane hadn't crossed the line. He held hands, he kissed foreheads, he cuddled on the couch. But the moment Noah's monthly heat started, Zane locked Noah in a luxury nest room full of soft blankets and left. "I won't touch you until you are ready," Zane had vowed. "I won't let biology force you." Noah appreciated it at first, but now Noah was climbing the walls with frustration. The heat night. It was 9:00 p.m. Noah's heat was starting. The fever was rising, his scent turning into thick, sweet honey. Zane stood at the door of the nest room, looking pained. His eyes were red, fighting his instincts. "Go inside, Noah," Zane rasped, clenching his fists. "I'll lock the door. I'll see you in 3 days." Noah stood in the doorway, clutching his stomach. He looked at Zane with big, wet eyes. "Don't go," he wanted to scream. "Come in, bite me, claim me." But he was too shy to say it. "Okay," Noah whispered sadly. He went inside. The lock clicked. Noah fell onto the pile of blankets, burying his face in a pillow that smelled like Zane. "Stupid, noble alpha," he cried into the dark. "I don't want to be safe anymore." The cafe meeting. 2 days after his heat ended, Noah met Sam at a cafe. "He left again," Sam shouted, slamming his iced coffee down. Noah nodded miserably. "He treats me like a glass vase, Sam. He thinks I'm fragile, but I crave him. When he's near, I just want to climb him like a tree." Sam smirked, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Okay, listen. Zane is a true alpha. He's holding back because he thinks you're an innocent baby. You need to show him you're not." "How?" Sam leaned in, whispering the naughty plan. "Next month, don't go to the nest room. Go to his bedroom, wear his shirt and nothing else. And when he tells you to leave, you challenge him." Noah turned bright red. "I can't do that." "Do you want another lonely night hugging a pillow?" Sam asked. Noah set his jaw. "No." Chapter 7. The trap is set. 1 month later. The fever started on a rainy Tuesday. Zane was in his study, working late. He smelled the change in the air, the sweet honey scent spiking. He sighed, standing up to go through the usual routine. He walked to the living room, expecting to see Noah waiting to go to the nest room. But the living room was empty. "Noah," Zane called out. Silence. Zane walked up the stairs. The scent trail didn't lead to the nest room. It led to the master bedroom, Zane's room. Zane frowned. He pushed the door open. The provocation. Zane froze in the doorway. Noah was there. He wasn't wearing his pajamas. He was wearing Zane's black dress shirt. It was huge on him, slipping off one shoulder, the hem barely covering his thighs. Noah was kneeling in the middle of Zane's massive bed, surrounded by Zane's pillows. He had made a nest right there. Zane's breath hitched. "Noah, what are you doing?" Noah looked up. His face was flushed with heat, eyes hazy. He remembered Sam's advice, be bratty. "I didn't like the other room," Noah said, his voice trembling but defiant. "This bed smells better." The restraint cracking. Zane gripped the doorframe so hard the wood creaked. "Noah, get up. You know I can't be in here with you when you're like this. It's dangerous." "Why?" Noah asked, tilting his head. He crawled slowly across the mattress toward Zane, moving like a cat. "Because I am an alpha," Zane growled, his eyes bleeding crimson. "And you are an Omega in heat wearing my clothes in my bed. My control has a limit." "Then break it," Noah whispered. Zane went still. "What did you say?" Noah reached the edge of the bed. He reached out and tugged Zane's tie. "I said, break it. I'm tired of sleeping alone, Zane. I don't want to be safe." "The limit." Zane stared at him for a terrifying second. Then, the gentleman vanished. He kicked the door shut and locked it. He stalked to the bed, grabbing Noah's waist and pulling him off the mattress and into his arms. "You have no idea what you just invited," Zane rumbled against Noah's ear. "If I start tonight, Noah, I'm not stopping. No more separate rooms, no more waiting." Noah wrapped his legs around Zane's waist, burying his nose in Zane's scent gland. "Good, I'm yours, prove it." Zane threw him back onto the bed, crawling over him, his restraint finally, beautifully shattering. Finally, Zane groaned, capturing his lips. Chapter 8, The Eternal Mark. The floodgates open. The air in the room was thick enough to choke on. Pheromones clashed, Noah's sweet, desperate wild honey mixing with Zane's heavy, dominating storm and burnt wood. Zane didn't hold back anymore. He ripped the black shirt Noah was wearing right down the middle, buttons flying across the room. "Zane," Noah gasped, arching his back as Zane's hot hands roamed over his skin. "Beautiful," Zane growled, his eyes glowing a bright, terrifying crimson. "I waited 365 days to touch you, to taste you." He kissed Noah, not gently, but with a starvation that consumed them both. He kissed his jaw, his throat, his chest, leaving dark bruises of ownership everywhere his lips touched. The heat fever. Noah was crying, not from pain, but from the sheer intensity of the pleasure. The heat fever made his mind fuzzy. He didn't know where he ended and Zane began. "Please," Noah begged, his nails digging into Zane's shoulders. "Please, Alpha, fill it, the empty space. It hurts." Zane hovered over him, sweat dripping from his brow. He looked like a god of war. "I know, baby, I know," Zane whispered, his voice rough. "I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to make sure you never feel empty again." He settled between Noah's legs, the friction sending sparks through Noah's nerves. For the first time, they moved together, a perfect rhythm that biology had designed just for them. The scent gland. As the night wore on, the instinct became impossible to ignore. Zane's nose kept brushing against the sensitive gland on the side of Noah's neck. The pulse there was beating frantically. "It smells so sweet right here," Zane groaned, his fangs lengthening, grazing the skin. "It's calling me." Noah tilted his head to the side, barring his neck completely. It was the ultimate sign of submission and trust. "Do it," Noah whispered, tears slipping from his eyes. "Mark me, Zane, make it so I can never leave." Zane froze. "A mark is forever, Noah. Once I bite you, our souls are tied. If I die, you die." "I don't want a life without you anyway," Noah replied. The bite. Zane didn't wait another second. He gripped Noah's shoulder to hold him steady. He opened his mouth, his sharp canine teeth resting against the swollen gland. Crunch. Zane bit down, hard. Noah screamed, his body seizing up. It was a sharp, piercing pain, followed instantly by a flood of euphoria. Zane's venom poured into Noah's bloodstream, mixing their scents, mixing their DNA. The bond snapped into place. Suddenly, Noah could feel Zane's emotions, his overwhelming love, his possessiveness, his relief. And Zane could feel Noah's pure trust. "Mine," Zane growled against the bleeding wound, licking it soothingly. "My Omega, my soul." The bond. The pain faded into a warm, golden glow. Noah lay limp in Zane's arms, panting, a permanent bite mark now scarring his neck. It was already starting to heal, turning a deep red. Zane wouldn't stop touching it. He kissed the mark, then kissed Noah's lips. "How do you feel?" Zane asked softly, brushing Noah's sweaty hair back. Noah opened his eyes. They were no longer just brown. They had a rim of gold, reflecting his alpha. "Whole," Noah whispered. "I feel whole." Zane pulled the duvet over them, wrapping his arms around Noah like a vice. "Sleep now," Zane commanded gently. "The heat isn't over. We have 3 more days, and I'm not letting you out of this bed for a single second." Chapter 9, The Sounds Behind the Door. Day 4 of the heat. The mansion was silent, too silent. The front door beeped. Sam entered, holding a bag of groceries. He had a spare key card because he was Noah's emergency contact. "Noah, Zane," Sam called out. "I brought snacks, you guys alive?" No answer. Sam walked through the empty living room. The air was thick with pheromones, so strong that even Sam, a beta, felt a bit dizzy. It smelled like burnt sugar and electricity. "Okay, definitely still in heat," Sam muttered, walking toward the stairs to leave the food outside the door. The sound. As Sam reached the top of the stairs, he stopped. From the end of the hallway, behind the heavy double doors of the master bedroom, a sound echoed. Thud, thud, the rhythmic sound of a headboard hitting the wall. And then, a deep, guttural growl that vibrated through the floorboards. "Zane, please, more," Noah's voice, broken and desperate, drifted through the door. "I've got you," Zane's low, possessive voice answered, followed by a sharp gasp from Noah. Sam's eyes widened. He turned bright red. "Nope, nope, definitely not interrupting that," Sam whispered, dropping the grocery bag right there on the carpet. He turned around and sprinted out of the house. "Good luck, Noah. You're gonna need a wheelchair." Chapter 10. The Ring and the Graduation. 5 days later. The storm had passed. Noah woke up wrapped in silk sheets, his body aching in the best way possible. He stretched, and the duvet slipped down, revealing his chest covered in love bites. But the most prominent mark was on his neck, the mating mark. It was deep red, healing, and beautiful. Zane walked in from the balcony, holding a tray of breakfast. He looked refreshed, smug, and incredibly happy. "Good morning, mate," Zane purred, setting the tray down. Noah hid his face in his hands. "Don't look at me. I feel like a mess." "You look like a queen," Zane corrected. He sat on the edge of the bed, his fingers immediately going to touch the mark on Noah's neck. "My scent is woven into your DNA now. You finally smell right." The college question. Noah sat up, eating a strawberry. "Zane, my heat is over. I have to go back to college tomorrow. Finals are next week. I'm almost graduated." Zane nodded, looking unbothered. "I know. I already emailed the dean. Your exams are rescheduled for the afternoon so you can sleep in." Noah blinked. "You emailed the dean." "I own the building, Noah," Zane smirked. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a velvet box. He didn't kneel. He didn't ask. He just opened it. Inside was a massive diamond ring, glowing with a rare honey-colored stone. "College is almost over," Zane said calmly, "which means you're ready for your next title." The proposal. Noah stared at the ring. "Zane." "We're getting married the day after your graduation," Zane stated, as if discussing the weather. Noah panicked. "What? But my parents, I can't just—" "They know," Zane interrupted. "What?" "I visited them 6 months ago," Zane admitted, sliding the ring onto Noah's finger. It fit perfectly. "I asked for their blessing. They said, 'Take care of him, he's precious.' They've been waiting for this." Noah's jaw dropped. You planned this whole thing, even before I let you touch me." "I've been planning our wedding since the day I smelled you in the library." Zane kissed Noah's hand. "I was just waiting for you to catch up." The epilogue. 2 weeks later. The graduation ceremony was boring, until Noah walked across the stage. Zane was in the front row, wearing a suit that cost more than the tuition fees. When Noah took his diploma, Zane stood up and clapped. The moment Noah walked off stage, Zane was there. He pulled Noah into his arms in front of the whole college. "Congratulations," Zane whispered. "Thank you," Noah smiled, the diamond ring sparkling on his finger. "Now," Zane growled, picking Noah up bridal style as the crowd cheered. "We have a honeymoon to start, and I think your heat is coming early." Noah laughed, burying his face in his alpha's neck. "You're obsessed." "Eternally," Zane promised. The end.